Our talk today will offer us usable insights on how to release beliefs that are not serving us, and in many cases, weren't even ours to begin with. So let us prime our consciousness now to recognize and receive exactly what Spirit would have us know today. If you're a regular here, you know we do this by dialing in the frequency of what we are opening ourselves to learn with 5 affirmations. All together now. I am a mighty wave in an ocean of universal love. The truth is that vibrant health is mine by divine design. When I let go of the past, love and joy automatically multiply. I refuse to worry and instead skillfully find the mystic beauty in every moment. I gratefully accept that universal love is law and manifesting blessings in all areas of my life now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. We're so glad to welcome Maitreyi, our guest teacher this morning. As most of you know, Maitreyi is originally from South India and over the years has been given many titles there, such as Yogacharini, meaning gem, or Yogacharini, meaning expert, or Yogacharini, meaning guide, which acknowledge her gifts as a spiritual teacher. In fact, Maitreyi was one of the youngest individuals ever to be invited to sit on the World Yoga Council Advisory Board. Maitreyi has quickly become a valued source of spiritual wisdom here at Unity. So it is with great anticipation that we look forward to this talk, to her talk this Sunday morning. Please join me in giving a warm Unity welcome to Maitreyi. Remember Lord's Prayer.
Thank you, everyone, for having me here, and especially Janet and Randy and the prayer chaplains who always welcome me with so much love. And as Linda was singing, when there's love, everything falls away. And that's the theme of today's topic, which is healing through release. How do we release these belief systems, the tightness in our bodies, the emotional loops that keep us trapped? So on that note, I'll ask everybody to rise for the Lord's Prayer, and then we'll go into a meditation and the talk.
Holy Spirit, creator and life of all, you create a space inside us and fill it with your presence. Our oneness now prevails. Your one desire flows through ours as energy fills our forms. You give us this day our physical and spiritual nourishment. You untangle the knots of error that bind us as we also release others. We don't let appearances make us forgetful of the source. We're born free to act from our highest nature. From your presence comes the glorious harmony of life. Now these words are fertile ground from which our future grows. Amen.
We'll go into the meditative part of the session now, and we're going to work with our fingers as there's a story in South India how monkeys were trapped. I'm sure many of you have heard this story, where they would cut a little hole into a coconut or a tree, which was just right where the monkey could put its hand in. But once it grabs the treat, its fist was too big for it to actually get it out. So the monkey was willing to trade its freedom for that treat, because once it got the treat and it's not able to escape, it would stay there thinking, somehow I'm going to get this treat despite the fact that it knows it's going to be captured. So this story is often told by elders when I was growing up, saying, what are you giving up for your true freedom? What is that treat? What is that desire? What is that anxiety? What is that emotion? What is that belief that is keeping you trapped and therefore making you be captured? So we're going to release certain nerve endings. As many of you know, again, we have nerve endings in the feet and the palms, which is what reflexology is based on. So we're going to do a very simple practice before we go into a quieter space of just making a fist and opening out this fist. How does it feel to grasp? And how does it feel to let go with the palms wide and stretched, and the fingers also reaching really wide? So we'll do this again, and we'll stretch it out. Again, and stretch it out. Now, each of the fingers represents a particular element, which is earth, water, fire, air, and space. And Ayurveda and yoga teaches us that disease is the imbalance of one of these elements in the body. So this little finger is the water element. So we're going to just bring it down in both our hands. Now release. Now let's bring the second finger, which is the earth element. And earth is grounding, rooting, for commitment. And it's no coincidence that we wear our wedding rings on this finger, because we wanted to stay rooted and grounded and committed in our relationship. Then we have the ether finger, and then we have the air finger, and then we have the thumb or the fire of consciousness. So stretch it out and see how it feels for you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. And now let's bring these fingers together and keep our eyes closed. So as we bring the polarities together, that is the right and left, at the root, which again connects us to the earth element, we are bringing our connection to our original ancestors, the original building blocks of the physical body. Now that influences our emotions, and that influences our mindset as well. The breath is very intimately connected to our emotional states. So let's simply observe the breath. Watching the breath as it moves into our nostrils, into our windpipe, into our lungs. And watching the breath out. So let's be present with our palms and fingers, the entire body starting from the toes, how the soles of our feet are resting on the earth, and gently going all the way up the calves, knees, thighs, how our bottom is resting on the chair, how our thighs are resting on the chair, and receiving the full support of the thighs or the chair for the thighs. So see if you can let go of your weight the weight of your legs, the weight of your bottom, sinking deeper into the chair. Be present to your back, lower, mid, upper back, going all the way up. Your pelvis, abdomen, chest, your shoulders, shoulder blades, arms, your neck, your face. Let's find safety. Let's find comfort in our own bodies. And one of the signs of trauma is dissociation and disconnection from our bodies, emotions, and even our minds. So let's simply be present to our body, to our breathing, to this mudra. A mudra is a gesture, a hand gesture, or a face gesture, or a body gesture that moves energy in a particular pathway. Now let's just gently manipulate the breath or lengthen the breath. When we're anxious, when we're distracted, the breath is really short. When we're in shock, we're holding the breath. We're in freeze pattern, where we're frozen. And therefore, any other force that is not the highest can take over us in the state of frozenness. Maybe it's an abuser, maybe it's a belief system, maybe it's some fear mongering. We become susceptible to things when we are in freeze mode. And one simple way to get out of it is through deep, full-chested breaths. So let's breathe in, expanding the lower chest, the mid-chest, and the upper chest. And gently breathe out. We're breathing out with lips pursed. Breathe in. Expanding lower chest, mid-chest, upper chest, front, side, back, and whoosh out with lips pouted. Once again, nice deep, deep breath and release. Now let's just take a moment again in silence, being present to our body, breath, mudra or gesture. And as Linda beautifully sang, let's give ourselves a little smile first. So a smile is also a mudra, which moves energy in a particular fashion in the system. So our eyes are still closed, and yet we can have a smita or a smile. So there are a lot of mukha mudras. Mukha is face. What we're doing with our hands is a hasta mudra, hand mudra. And these mukha mudras also have the capacity to help us release old patterns that contract us, that make us small, that make us little, that make us believe who we actually are not. So let's keep that smile on our faces, even as we sit in silence for the next 30 seconds or a minute. You can get creative with your smile if you want. If you want a wide smile, that's great too. If you want a simple smile, just a little turn of the lips, that's fine as well. Now gently rub your palms. Place them on your eyes, soothing the eyes, turning the vision inwards so we can cultivate inner sight or insight. And having a sankalpa or intention that we're going to develop a deeper relationship with ourselves. Now we can take that joy of commitment as we open our eyes to the person next to us and share that smile with a brother, sister, a spouse next to us. And I'll hand over to Linda for the song.
Like a river, ever changing as it flows, and a dream is just a vessel that must follow where it goes, trying to learn from what's behind you, never knowing what's in store, makes each day a constant battle just to stay between the shores. And I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Too many times we stand aside and let the waters slip away, till we put off till tomorrow what has now become today. So don't you sit along the shoreline and say you're satisfied. Choose to chance the rapids and dare to dance with the tide. And I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. Well, I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Well, there's bound to be rough waters, and I'll know I'll take some falls, but with the good Lord as my captain, I can make it through them all. And I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. And I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry.
Beautiful. So these 2 weeks from September 17th to October 2nd in the Indian calendar are very, very auspicious because it's a portal or a time where you can connect to the other world, where we can connect to our ancestors. And this offers great opportunity for healing because not only can we learn from the gifts of our ancestors, but we can also let go of those belief systems that don't serve us and that were passed on simply because we were raised in a particular culture or in a particular family or in a particular system. I also want to take a moment of silence for tomorrow, which is Truth and Reconciliation Day. So we'll just take a moment, bringing our awareness to the lives that probably were not respected and the lives that were surely not respected, to different degrees of alienation that was created in the system. And though I wasn't raised here, I wasn't born here, my culture tells me that I owe it to the people of the land. So we have certain debts of not just love, but respect to the land we were born in, the land we were raised in, and the land we make our living on. And I moved here a few years ago. So I have a debt to the people of this land as well. So we'll take a moment just acknowledging the original people of this land and offering our support and understanding through a few moments of silence and deep listening. We can slowly open our eyes, return back to the room. So during this time of Pitru Paksha, it's quite interesting that all of it is falling at the same time. What we also do is ask for forgiveness for things that we have done in unawareness, not just to our ancestors, but those who our ancestors have hurt as well. So I'm like, oh, that's a lot, in terms of what my ancestors could have done and what they could have transgressed. And so we're looking at all of history, again, not to get trapped in the sadness or grief of it, but to actually clear that ocean or clear that stagnant water so that we can feel joy and love again. So the Indians always figured out that food will make everybody joyous. So there's a lot of food during these 16-day period of cleansing. It's supposed to be cleansing, but we eat a lot of food. So not physical cleansing, but emotional and mental cleansing, where this process of deeper insight and deeper seeing of everything that's happened in our family lineage, in our spiritual lineage. So I will have to sit with my gurus, their lineage, what has happened, are there some untruths that have been passed on? Sit with all of that, contemplate all of that, and clear even that, which is beautiful and fascinating. So there is this process of vichara or enquiry that happens during these 16 days. Enquiry into our deep behavioral patterns and why we're doing what we're doing. So that is a very fundamental, I would say, aspect of the 16-day period, apart from the great food and the rituals, and of course there are all these extra paraphernalia. And the yogis, or I like to call them the ancient researchers, were quite beautiful in the way they identified all these belief systems that were stuck in us through story, through different myths. They would communicate it to us. And very often I remember how Galileo was persecuted because of collective belief systems that during the 1633, I think he was basically convicted of heresy because he said the center of the universe is the sun, which all of us now know that the earth goes around the sun. We know that, and we take it for granted. And yet, in 1633, he was convicted of heresy for saying that because the church had a view that the earth was the center of the universe. So it was a very geocentric model, not a heliocentric model, and therefore whatever he was saying must be wrong and he must be coming from the devil. So like that, even in the Indian system, there are many, many misconceptions that creeped in, again, about widows and how widows were the worst. So when a marriage happens, a widow was not allowed into the marriage, even to be around the marriage place. It was inauspicious. I'm like, this woman has survived her husband, so she must be pretty auspicious, those days when, there was death and disease, and she must be pretty sturdy to have survived him, and yet that was not the thinking. So as we sit with the past and delve deep into our belief systems, we see that at certain times, certain things were okay to believe in. And because we believed in those things, for example, there was the belief exactly during that time, the 1630s, that the earth was flat and it was not round. India, of course, was a different belief system. 2,000 years ago, you'll find sculptures of the earth being round. So that was a different culture. But if I was raised in a European culture, I would be afraid of traveling by sea because I would think that I would come to the edge of the earth and fall off the edge of the earth. And that was a very, very legitimate collective belief system that would direct my fears. Of course, there are other fears. There could be wild animals, sharks, and all sorts of things that happen to me when I travel by sea. But at least one of the fears that I don't have as I navigate this beautiful life is the fear that I'm not going to fall off the edge of the earth. So at least one fear less if I was raised in a different culture that believed that the earth was round. So this vichara, or this contemplation of how do we sit with our belief systems and see what are the belief systems that are contracting us, that are making us anxious, that are making us afraid, a process that we practice during this time. To do a very, very simple practice to release these belief systems, and sound is one of the main tools used. So they say, sometimes attacking one belief with another is not the option. And as Linda beautifully sang, we need to fill ourselves with love so that the anxiety and the distrust falls away. So how do we fill ourselves with a vibration that is in opposition or simply melts away something that is dissonant? Now we add a resonant vibration. So we'll start with, again, being aware of how we're sitting. I'm just going to move this so everyone can see me. Oops. My mic system just fell off. So give me a moment, please. It's a bit loose there. And again, we're going to sit with our eyes closed and tips of the fingers touching. And we're going to just make the sound like a buzzing bee. Now, if we have incessant thoughts, worries, anxieties, and we're not able to rely on our own minds, how do we quieten this mind so that we are aligned with this universal consciousness for more expansive thoughts and belief systems to find its way through? So this is a simple practice. We breathe in and make the sound of a buzzing bee. Let's breathe in. Once again, nice deep breath. Third time, lower, mid, upper chest. We're going to be doing 9 rounds, but we'll take breaks between 3 rounds. 3, 3, 3. And this practice increases the nitric oxide. I'm glad science has kind of come to a point where it can measure all these things. The nitric oxide in the body by about 15 times. And nitric oxide is a vasodilator. It's good for to bring down your blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, it prevents stroke. It's needed for growth. It's needed for healthy gene expression, not only in us humans, but also in plants as nitrates. That's why when you grow plants, I was speaking to an indigenous healer, and she was telling me how she has a lot of clovers in her garden, because clovers are nitrogen fixers in the soil. So let's do this buzzing bee or humming 3 more times. Breathe in. Expand, front, side, back, and release with a buzz. Once again. One last time. And let's take a moment here, again knowing that not only this vibration, but because it increases nitric oxide, it supports more expansive thinking and also more expansive being as it supports the cardiovascular system. Now we're going to intensify it a little bit more. You can see what I'm doing. I'm closing my ears, so you won't be able to hear my instruction. And after we close the ears, we're going to make the sound 3 times, so we feel like the bee is buzzing in our heads. So this is the actual practice. Close the ears, and sometimes people use it as a Shanmukhi mudra, where they close the eyes, the nose, the mouth, to say, I'm not getting distracted by the senses outwardly, I'm taking it inward. So you can do whichever calls out to you, and then you chant 3 times on your own, because you won't hear me. And take your time, gently open your eyes when you're done. So there are 3 things that these ancient researchers tell us how to shift our thought patterns or be open to new uplifting ideas and belief systems replacing the old. One, of course, is the deep breathing we did. The breath is the key to the unconscious. The 2 is sound, and 3 is mindful movement, especially of the back and the vertebral column. Now, this area is what holds the backlog, literally, of unprocessed emotions and unprocessed belief systems whose weight, we're literally carrying the weight of those belief systems on our shoulders, weight of the world on our shoulders. And this is what we're aiming to release through this very simple practice. So the first thing we're going to do as we breathe in is lengthen or elongate our vertebral column. And as we breathe out, we're simply going to round, savor, and have a little smita or smile on our face, like I'm enjoying letting go of everything my back is burdened by. And breathing in, gently sitting tall, and breathing out, simply releasing. So that's all we're going to do, about 6 times. So breathing in, lengthening, breathing out, rounding the back, releasing all those burdened beliefs that we don't have to carry. Breathing in, sitting up tall, and breathing out, coming back to neutral. 3rd time, breathe in, lengthen, 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 breathe out. Feel every muscle, every vertebrae. Have a little smita or smile on your face. And breathing in, sitting tall, and coming back to neutral, and taking a moment just to reconnect to our backs. What is the backlog? What have we put in the back burner that's taking up a lot of headspace? So that is also an area of contemplation we have during these 16 days. So people usually clean up things, get rid of old things, as a symbolic way to say I'm getting rid of old generational stuff which I don't need anymore. Maybe we're hoarding, maybe it's sentimental, and yet we're seeing what is it that I can let go of, not just things, but belief systems as well. So we'll do 3 more, keeping that intention in mind. Breathe in, lengthen the vertebral column, breathing out, round the shoulders, round the back, round the neck, and breathing in, sitting tall, chest open, shoulders relaxed, and release with the mouth. body back to neutral. Breathe in. Lengthen, lengthen. Breathe out. Rounding the shoulders, rounding the back, rounding the neck. Breathing in, sitting up tall. And relaxing. One last time. Breathe in. Feel your back muscles, each vertebrae. Breathe out, round. Savor the movement. Savor your back. Savor the letting go. And gently sitting up tall. And releasing. Coming back to neutral, we'll take a moment in silence again, just to observe how our back, our breathing is feeling. And we saw that everything is connected to everything, which means our emotions impact our breath, our breathing impacts how contracted or relaxed our body is. So whenever we are in fight or flight mode, the body's natural tendency to self-protect is to contract the body for flight or fight. We don't want a relaxed body when we're in danger. And yet, what are these belief systems that tell us that we are in constant danger or under constant threat? That is, of course, a lifetime of our own vichara or inquiry to explore. We'll take about 10 seconds in silence. Now gently rub your palms. Place them on the eyes. Once again, holding the intention of cultivating an inner vision, insight. And gently soften and relax the palms. Let me just move this chair. So we're often taught that there's a difference between tradition and what's blindly passed on. So one of the stories I love in the ashram circles, which were shared, was there was a guru, and his lectures were really wonderful and inspiring. And not only were humans inspired by his lectures, but also animals. So there would be a specific cat who was particularly in love with the guru. So the cat would come during every lecture, or upadesha as they call it, and circle around the master. And sometimes it would turn and twist, and all the disciples were really distracted by this cat. So one of the head disciples said, it's nice to include animals in the talk, but this cat is really distracting. So I have a plan. I will still have the cat close, but there was a pillar close by. But I'll tie, we'll give the cat a long rope, but we'll tie the cat to the pillar. So the guru accepts and says, yeah, I agree, let's find a middle ground. Let's not chase the cat away, but let's, give it a long leash so it's in its place. So this happened. The cat lived for 20 years. It had a litter. And as babies go, not all cats are the same. So there were 2 cats who really loved the guru and loved the lecture, so they would come back, and so on and so forth. The gurus changed, the cat's family changed, their lineage went on, and there came a point when there was a litter where none of the cats were really excited about this particular guru's lecture down the line. So it was not the same guru, it was his successor. So at that point, one of the older disciples was talking to a younger disciple, and this young disciple went out, caught a cat, and tied it to the pillar. And the old disciples like, why are you doing that? And he says, no, it was tradition that whenever a guru gave a talk in this lineage, there would always be a cat tied to the pillar. So sometimes it's important to look and inquire and say, is it tradition, or where did this tradition actually start? So on that note, I'll leave you to your process of inquiry for the next, you can start with 16 days from now, if that calls out to you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to reign, a time to sow, a time for love, a time to hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. A time for peace. I swear it's not too late.
Thank you, Linda and Bill. Fabulous as always. And Maitreyi, thank you so much for your wonderful talk today. It was beautiful. I would just like to ask, as you were doing the breathing exercises, how many people noticed that they felt a little bit better after they'd been doing some breathing? Okay, so for those of us that meditate on a regular basis, this becomes like a switch that you can flip anytime. That you do some breathing, even just for 1 or 2 minutes, and you immediately activate what's called the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the opposite of the fight or flight system. And so I would just invite everybody in this room to play with these breathing exercises, because, we can do them on Sunday, September the 29th, and then, move on and never do it again. And what have we gained for our time to show up other than obviously the beauty of coming together and feeling it, but what if it became your practice on a regular basis? Just a few minutes every day, just practicing one of these breathing exercises or something at least. Do it on a regular basis, because I know that from personal experience, even just sitting back there, as soon as I did like 9 breaths, I was like completely in a different state than I had been 3 minutes earlier. So that's a gift that we really love to share here. So thank you so much. One more time from Maitreyi. So now we come to the time in our gathering where we give our thanks for the miracle of our spiritual growth, our health, our happiness, our prosperity, and our spiritual community. We do this through freely given love offerings. Please know that your offerings really do make a difference. There is no head office supporting this ministry, and everything that you see that happens here happens through your freely given donations. And you can take heart in knowing that your donations empower this ministry to help people in many, many ways. And I would like to just bring up to the stage for a couple of moments one of our super active and benefiting us a huge amount, volunteers, Roy Prevost, to say a few words about an online auction that we're starting up. Roy.
How many people here are aware of the wonderful online auction that we'll be doing in the beginning part of October? Okay, so I'm Roy Prevost. I've been a member of Unity for about 35 years. This is a collaboration between ourselves and Covenant House, where we're putting this auction together. The funds that go to Covenant House, for all of you who probably know, this is a great opportunity for us to create some funds with them, and we already support them through tithing. And the funds that we get, of course, goes to what we do and all of the different good work that we do. So we have that. We're going to be starting very quickly in probably another week or so. Terry Collette is my collaborator. Next Saturday. All right. Now, I just want to name a couple of people. I know some of you all forget, but I wanted to announce for Ross Berman, who's sitting right there in the audience. Ross is the guy who decided that he would help out. And, if we're going to collect gift cards from different restaurants and stores and whatever, we have to get in the car, go down, park the car, do whatever. Ross goes around on his bike. And you just announce to the person, well, somebody named Ross will drop by and pick up the card. So he's been doing that for the last week or so. Thank you, Ross, very much for doing that. And Joan O'Flynn, Wendy Wales, Carol Millard, all of you these folks have been going out and collecting them. So it's very simple how this works. You get a $50 card that you can bid on for, let's say, Save On or Costco. Costco, I've got $100 cards plus one for $250. Now, anybody goes to Costco, you can spend $250 without blinking an eye. So these cards you can buy at full value, bid at full value, which gives you the full value of the card, so nothing out of your pocket. And in the meantime, the money from that goes into our wonderful causes. So you'll be getting a notice by email telling you how to sign up for the bidding. And Terry and I will both be downstairs after the service to answer any questions you might have. So that's the end of my story. And so come down and talk to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. And thank you to Terry. And they have collected an amazing array of items for this auction. There's dinner for two at Forte's, a $250 gift certificate. There's even getaways to the Okanagan, 4-day stays at beautiful cabins in beautiful locations. So you'll get an email on the auction when it starts. Make sure you open it and take a look and see if there's anything there that you can use. And, Costco, don't knock it. There's nothing more exciting than going home with that giant gallon of peanut butter. It's a great moment. So with that said, just a very few quick announcements and we'll be on our way. If you enjoyed Beatles Night and Classic Rock 70s Night, then get ready because here comes the 80s Live, the ultimate retro concert, which will be performed by Tom and Nathan's incredible band, The Hits. If those of you that have been to the Beatles Night and Classic Rock Night, can I hear a show of support for this band? These guys faithfully recreate hits from practically any era. We all know they're genius musicians, but you're gonna hear music of David Bowie, The Police, Bruce Springsteen, Journey, Rolling Stones, Rod Stewart, Van Halen, Bon Jovi, B-52s, Dire Straits, and many more. It's going to be an incredible night of entertainment. Tickets are just $30, which is about 1/10 of what a concert costs downtown, and will go on sale this Wednesday on Eventbrite. So watch for that in your email. You are, moving right along, invited to the next Explore Your Inner Being workshop. Join us to awaken your ability to calm the mind, soothe the body, and radiate your true power, amplify your ability to give and receive energy. Experience the power of connection in this community. Embrace this opportunity to embrace your divine self. And you'll find it all and all the info on the website. The workshop will take place on Thursday, October the 3rd from 7 to 9 p.m. And of course, this Tuesday, you can check out our Thriving Course in Miracles community by attending our Course in Miracles study group live from 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. right here at Unity on the lower level. If you have any questions on this or any of our other events, please feel free to ask at the bookstore after the service. Now, as you know, we're in the process of implementing childminding. So if you've got friends or relatives who have kids that would like to get out and get some spiritual nourishment but don't know how to handle the kids, we're working hard to build that ability. We kind of got a bit of a false start due to our staff availability. The childminding is temporarily the start date postponed, but we are hoping that the staffing and training is complete in the next couple of weeks. So please stay tuned for the new opening date, which you'll be notified of via email. Finally, coming up on October the 18th is the Unity Canada Conference, which is taking place online. We'll be featuring Sandra Campbell, who many of you are familiar with. Maitreyi will also be a headliner at the Unity Canada Conference, as well as our musical director, Beverly Elliott, who is doing a workshop on weaving a tapestry of us. Tickets for this event are $100, but you can still get tickets for $80 until midnight on September 30th. So this is a way to participate in spiritual education and growth from the comfort of your own home over that period. Our prayer chaplains for today are Shirley Thompson, Melba Burns, Margaret McLeod, and Marina Marcos. Would you please stand? Marina is on Zoom, by the way. And if you would like to have a confidential prayer with one of our chaplains who've been very carefully trained to hold space and to help energize, if you will, your intention, whatever it may be, simply come up to the front after the music is finished and you'll find the chaplains in the front row. They'll be happy to support you in prayer. And if you're watching on Zoom, I'll show you how to participate in just a few moments. Finally, join us downstairs after the service today for coffee, tea, and conversation. And now, as we bring our gathering to a close, please stand and let us together say our prayer for protection. All together now. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Now, please remain standing as we sing our peace song. If you are on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. We send you our love and look forward to seeing you next week.